How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing good. It's time for a Q&A. I have a series of questions from you taken from both YouTube and Instagram, and I'll be answering them in this video. As always, I'll timestamp all of the questions in the description below so you can jump to the specific questions that you want to know the answers to. So the first question comes from Mina Belsky, who asks, for how long do you usually draw? And what is a healthy amount of drawing that doesn't burn you out? So to answer the first part of that question, how long do I draw for? As of late, I have only been able to draw for a few hours a day. If that, I mean, I have a day job now, so I can't just spend all day drawing like I sometimes used to. I tend to have about 4 hours a day to work on all of this, and so I'll work on artwork over time and put a few hours in each day. But I also have to plan and edit these videos, so I might even draw for just 2 hours a day. I'd say that my time is split evenly between drawing and doing all of the other things that comes with running a YouTube channel, and I also spend a bit of time drawing on the weekends as well. Now, to answer the second part of that question, what is a healthy amount of drawing to avoid burnout? I'd have to say that I never really experience burnout from drawing. Like, if I ever draw for long periods of time, I'll get a little tired and want to take a break, but I don't know if that's burnout. It's the same with most things really, like you can play video games too long and need to take a break, but yeah, when it comes to drawing, I can just do it for a long time. Also, it really depends on what you're doing. Like, if you are studying something quite complex and it's using up a lot of mind power, then you know that will tire you out quicker than drawing a picturesque landscape. Also, I think you know when you need to take a break, like perhaps you are losing interest in what you are working on, or you're making mistakes more often. Sometimes it's good to take a break and then come back a day later with fresh eyes. So question number 2 comes from Abhirup Mahato. I apologise if I'm completely wrong when I pronounce these names. Anyways, they ask, when did you feel like you needed to learn the fundamentals of art? So many of you will know I used to only focus on creating realistic drawings, but over time it started to feel like more of a chore. I was drawing from photographs all the time and the outcome was successful, but never that rewarding. I wasn't learning anything new, and so I naturally started to look elsewhere and learn about some other aspects involved in drawing. And you know, I'm self-taught, so I never had anyone pointing me in the right direction. I would just find everything out myself by researching online. I realised that I had been somewhat ignorant to what was considered the drawing fundamentals, and if I have to be honest, it was quite discouraging at the time because I had no idea about any of these subjects: perspective, anatomy, composition. I had no idea how to draw from my imagination, and so that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should start studying all of this. So the next question is from Wanna Become Pro, don't we all? Right, they ask, how old are you again, and who is your favourite artist? So I'm 24, nearly 25, and my favourite artist, I don't really have a favourite, I just have many who I admire, but one who comes to mind is Mobius. His artwork is amazing. If you haven't seen it, then be sure to check him out. I'll put some on screen now so you can have a look at that. And then another one would be David Cho. I like his artwork, but I also like him as a person. He's very eccentric, and yeah, I like that. So next question. This one is from My Art Progress 2021, and they ask, anatomy or perspective, what is more important as a fundamental? Okay, so first of all, both of these are important, and if you can learn perspective and anatomy, you won't have too much trouble drawing anything. Now, from my understanding, I would recommend starting with perspective because it will allow you to develop your ability to draw three-dimensional objects. You'll gain a better understanding of form and space, and all of this plays a part when drawing figures, which is obviously where your understanding of anatomy will be of benefit. I think that it will be easier for you to study anatomy if you have even just a basic understanding of perspective. Also, I find that you can approach perspective in a more linear fashion as opposed to anatomy. Like, anatomy for me is a lot of information being thrown at me at once, and it can be quite overwhelming, whereas perspective, you can start with the basics and progress at your own pace, but people might say otherwise. That's just my experience, but you will be seeing some anatomy related content on the channel soon, so look forward to that. Anyways, this next question is from Afzal, and they ask, how do you fit your drawing into your day when working 9 to 5, and can we get some sort of a summary of a typical day and how you fit your art in? So this relates back to that first question that I answered. I do intend on making a video discussing my daily routine, so I'll go more in depth in that, but to give you an idea, my day starts at 4:45 AM. I wake up that early because by 5 AM I'm sat at my desk and I work until around 8 AM. I have 3 hours of undisturbed time to work through my to-do list, which can involve working on a drawing or planning and editing a video. I get to work for 9 AM and work until 5 PM. I then get home, I have something to eat, and I go in the gym. And then I'll spend around an hour or two working on my artwork. Now at this point, I'm tired out. I aim to be in bed around 9 PM. And I wake up at 4:45 AM and do that all over again. Yeah, it's a real Groundhog Day, and you know, it's my dream to be able to do this full time and make a comfortable living from my art, but until I get there, this is what I have to do. And I talk about all of this stuff more in depth in videos on my second channel, so if you want to watch some of them, there's a link in the description. Anyways, next question. This one is from Crash Fan, and they ask, have you ever tried other forms of art like animation, sculpting, music, etc.? I have created animations in the past, but these were only stop motion animations when I was in school. I would make objects out of paper and move them around and take photos of them and create these videos. I haven't really pursued any other form of art seriously. I mean, in school I'd have to do all kinds of things for various projects, but nothing really appealed to me as much as drawing did. I never attempted to learn an instrument or anything. I mean, outside of drawing, my hobbies are mostly going to the gym and playing video games. This next question comes from Domo, and they ask, hey Dan, I was wondering if you ever tried to draw your way out of depression or a low period in your life. I feel like I am doing that as of late, being focused on just enjoying the process instead of studying the fundamentals, which I should be doing. Best of luck to you, man. Hope your new job works out. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. And to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I've been drawing for most of my life, and so inevitably there's been some low points in my life as well, and I'll often use drawing as an escape. Drawing is a good way to distract yourself and take your mind off things, and when you're so invested in a drawing, then sometimes the outside world doesn't exist. And I also think that video games are good to do this. You know, they can help you forget for a moment the stuff that might be bothering you. Also, when I look back at artwork that I remember creating during a low point in life, I'm reminded of that, and I've always found that quite strange because, you know, because I spent so much time on something during a bad time in my life, it then reminds me of that time. I don't know, but yeah, drawing is always there. This question comes from Pacific Ocean, who asks, what is your major? Are you married, and how old are you? I have a degree in architecture, but I've only done my part 1. It takes 7 years to be a fully qualified architect, so I'm not there just yet, and I'm not married, but I do have a girlfriend. The next question is from Fernando Mir, who asks, do you believe in talent, or is it all a matter of hard work? So this is one of those questions where I have to really think about the answer. I do believe that talent exists, but I don't think that that's an excuse for other people to not do something they're not naturally good at. Like, I hate the word talent because you hear people say, oh, they're so talented, and for the most part they mean it just to be a compliment, but in a way it kind of discredits the hard work that that person might have put in to be able to be so good at something. And then it's also easy for other people to say, oh, they were born with this gift and I wasn't, so that's why they are good at doing something and I'm not, and then they go on feeling sorry for themselves. And I just hate all of that, because I truly believe that you can learn and become better at doing anything if you are willing to put in the work, and most people just don't want to do that, and yet they are still so entitled. Anyways, it makes me angry. So next question. This one comes from Mike.jke, I think, and they ask, how did your symbol come about? So this logo that I use as a profile picture on most platforms is something that I came up with in school, and to put it simply, it's meant to be my initials, a D and a B within a circle, and I thought it looked cool, so I started using it and I've just used it ever since. So I'll answer one more question because I don't want this video to drag on for too long. I do have a lot more to answer though, so I'll probably do another Q&A in the future, but this last question is from Braver Leech, and they ask, how did you get over drawing so poorly as a beginner? Specifically, how did you get over the disappointment of drawing something that doesn't remotely match what you had in your head? This is a hard one to answer really, because I know how discouraging it can be when you spend so long on a drawing and it doesn't turn out how you expected, and obviously that's something that happens more often if you are a beginner. But what helped me when I started was reminding myself that I am a beginner and that I am learning. You know, why would I expect every drawing to go as planned when I am new to all of this? Instead, I expect to make mistakes, and reminding yourself of this fact before going into something new can help lessen the blow when things don't turn out the way you intended them to. I suppose I'm essentially saying to go in with low expectations, and whilst that might sound quite pessimistic, I think it's a realistic approach. I mean, I even do it now when I'm going to try and study. Like, of course my anatomy is going to be bad because I still have a lot to learn. Remind yourself that learning how to draw demands a lot of time and practice, and it's a process which you should try and enjoy. If you're a beginner, then try not to get too hung up on the results. Just be patient, and most important of all, be consistent. I still create a lot of artwork that will never see the light of day because of how bad it is, and any artist is lying if they say they don't. But I'm going to end the Q&A here. I've answered a lot of questions. If I didn't answer yours specifically, then do not worry, because I will be doing more of these in the future. If you have a question that you really want me to answer, then just leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to reply to you there. But if you enjoyed this, then please give the video a like, subscribe to stay up to date with all of the content I will be putting out in the future, and consider checking out the Patreon page because I've been creating a lot of additional content over on there recently. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the content I create, then do consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You will gain access to exclusive tutorials, study documents, process papers, real-time drawing footage and more. Plus, you will also be supporting me in a more personal way. Other than that, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you soon.